She's not been here in a long while. The frigid weather takes an ever larger chunk of life energy as winter's deep freeze settles in over the land. She's not well at the time of this entry, drained of first mental and now physical health. She's taken a rare sick day and sits nearly motionless on the couch. Turner Classic Movies' One Man's Journey, a 1933 treasure starring Lionel Barrymore, Drew Barrymore's grandfather, playing in the background. She remembers an acronym, a highly effective tool, used in recovery circles: HALT. When one is hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, it is time to slow down, take deep breaths, and take stock. She's added an S to the end for sick. When she is sick, she feels lower than pond scum. She really, truly misses having someone close by when the darkness sets in. She sits with fingers poised over the keyboard, metaphorical pen in hand, willing herself to put into words her latest epiphany, wrought from unspeakable hurt and despair. PTSD. She's never spoken of it from a personal perspective before. Deep breaths. When she reflects back on the times over the course of these past years since her daughter and she reconnected, she vividly recalls 3 panic attacks directly resulting from this life-sucking disorder. The first was Christmas 2, 3? She's lost track of time. Years ago, she had spent months in over-the-moon glee and excitement when she carved out a Christmas that would knock the socks off all the grandkids, daughter and son-in-law. She'd gone online and bought 6 of those jumbo Christmas sacks, stuffing each with a dozen or more gifts. She delighted in seeing them set up by the tree, gleefully anticipating the surprise, joy, and laughter on the faces of her loved ones as they walked through the door and saw this grand spectacle. She reveled in that rare and elusive emotion, joy, on numerous occasions as she anticipated the pure delight of children, big and small, diving into sacks of treasure. That Norman Rockwell vision was blown to smithereens just a few days before Christmas. She was sitting in her daughter's living room when the blow was delivered. She was to bring all those gifts, 6 jumbo bags, nearly 80 gifts, over to her daughter's home. She's not certain she can really make anyone understand the reaction. Severe trauma brings with it the most basic of survival instincts. Raw fight-or-flight gut responses. In the same way a combat vet involuntarily jumps and then dives for cover when a car backfires, she jumped up from the chair and rushed down the hall. She couldn't breathe. She dove for cover. She left. Angry daughter. Ultimately, she apologized and transported the gifts, all of them, by herself. The joy of the season crushed under a mountain of disappointment. The second incident was when she took for safekeeping the gift she'd given her granddaughter for Christmas the following year. A glass photo box displaying treasured pics of her granddaughter and loved ones. She removed it from a shelf in her daughter's living room, reasoning that her daughter, once more angry with her mother, might place the box in jeopardy. It had happened so many times before. So she would bring it home and keep this priceless gift safe for her granddaughter. There is such a thing as too much loss. Her husband, her granddaughter, her son, her daughter, her grandchildren, her daughter again, her grandchildren again, her daughter again, her grandchildren again. All of her mother's treasures, much of her son's treasures, most of her daughter's treasures, the home in which she'd raised her children, the business she built from scratch. In her mind, she saw this glass photo keepsake as being counted among the massive collateral damage. That's it. That's the only explanation she has to offer. There is no moral high ground. Rage filled daughter. She returned the box. She apologized. 2 weeks ago, a third instance of a panic attack on steroids. Yes, that's how she'd best describe it. A panic attack on steroids. Before she'd set the December schedule for her staff, she worked Christmas out with her daughter. It would be at her daughter's house on Saturday the 30th. She eagerly looked forward to her 2 vacation days, a possible grandbaby overnight sleepover, and the delight of all 7 of them as they opened gifts selected with them, having fun as a family as a theme. The Friday afternoon before, and she hasn't heard a word from her daughter. Strange. She texts, the hands-down preferred mode of communication for this generation, asking if they're still on for the next day or if it's been canceled. Her daughter texts that she'll call after work. Phoning shortly after 5, her daughter shares that it will be just she, her husband, and the kids. It is to be a light lunch. She gets the distinct impression that this is last minute, more a to-do than a celebratory event, eagerly anticipated. And then her daughter shares that they had already celebrated Christmas with all of her husband's family and that his grandmother had spent Christmas Eve with she and her hubby. That horrific feeling of panic begins to well up in the base of her belly, snake its way up into her throat, and suck the air right out of her. Her daughter had made the conscious choice to not call her mother to join she and her husband on Christmas Eve, and sent a 5-word text on Christmas Day. An atomic bomb goes off simultaneously in each ear. Her daughter left her alone on Christmas, knowing more than anyone what the holiday and now its cavernous emptiness did to her mother's heart and soul. And she simply did not care. It was a visceral reaction, beyond her ability to control as it unfolded. A pounding in the ears and chest, the inability to breathe, walls closing in. She spewed out something to the effect that she would have given anything to be included in Christmas Eve, that the greatest gift she could have gotten on Christmas would have been to hear her daughter's voice. She couldn't breathe. She cut the conversation short. She dove for cover. Livid daughter. She has apologized. There's been no response. When interacting with her daughter, these 3 are profoundly memorable instances of trigger events, each resulting in being shunned and the children taken. It occurs to her that this kind of sickness, mental dis-ease, plague upon one's soul, receives no quarter, no understanding, no allowances, no unconditional love. Cancer sucks. PTSD sucks. Depression sucks. SAD, seasonal affective disorder, sucks. The first eats away at the physical body. The others, the mind and soul, all steal life energy. It occurs to her that no matter how hard she works at recovery from dis-ease, there can be no peace without understanding and compassion. It occurs to her that when two sufferers of the same dis-ease in its end stages attempt a relationship, they are doomed to failure unless both are actively recovering. It occurs to her that the finest gift she can give her daughter, the one the child has been asking for in a myriad of ways in the 13 years since losing her brother and hero, is to leave her alone. Why, she wonders, am I only now able to grant this wish? Ah, yes, she remembers. The death of Hope, her son, and now her daughter. She is bone tired.